We're going to jump into the episode really quick, but first, just want to say thanks again for checking out the second episode of the Trenches podcast. On the last episode, we had on Jordan Steidinger, who is the co-owner of Hebrews 11 Coffee, as well as he's done a lot of other things, which you'll hear about. On this episode, we're going to have on his sister, Shalise. So make sure you stick around. She's super young, super smart, has learned a ton through this journey, and I know you guys are going to enjoy. So thanks for listening. All right, we are live. What's going on?
Awesome.
Shalise, how are you doing?
Great.
Good.
Yes.
So I interviewed your brother. It was about a week ago or so. The thing is, I don't know which one I'm going to do first. If I'm going to release this one or your brother's first. So we'll see.
Okay.
But for the audience, you own a coffee shop called
Hebrews 11 Coffee.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, Jordan and I got into quite a bit of details, but it might be a little bit repetitive for the audience, but I want to just ask you some, general questions. First of all, I think you guys just hit 1 year, right?
Mm-hmm.
In ownership?
Yes.
Okay.
This Wednesday.
Has that just flown? Or
Yes.
has it been like, this has been the longest year of my life?
I'm not going to lie. Like some days it feels like, obviously we have good days and bad days. So
Yeah.
some days it feels like we've been open for decades, but other times this week, like our 1 year anniversary, I was like, man, it flew by. It's crazy.
Yeah, I can't believe it. I mean, it's just like yesterday you guys had the idea.
Right. I know.
And okay, so I'm curious about kind of like day one of when you guys started. So first of all, how'd the idea even come up? Like, was this something, I think that Jordan talked about, this was more of like your dream and your idea originally, right?
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
To be completely honest, I don't know. Like one main reason that I wanted to start my own business was so I could work for myself.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't want to work under people. So that was kind of the start of it. And then I was like, what is something I enjoy? I've always enjoyed coffee. I'm very passionate about it. But in all seriousness, I never ever thought that it would become like real life. It was always a dream.
Yeah.
And I never thought that it would become reality. And I'm so grateful that it did. But yeah, I moved up to college or up to Chicago for college, and I was doing business. Yeah.
Were you actually in Chicago, like the suburbs of Chicago?
No, I was just in Batavia.
Okay.
I say Chicago, but it was just Batavia.
Okay.
But yeah, I was up there doing business, and that's when Jordan found out about it. So Jordan's always wanted to own a business, but he didn't know what.
Yep.
So then he was like, we should partner. So then that's when I dropped out of college because he had his business degree.
Okay.
So it was a kind of waste of my money if he had the business brains and I had the coffee brains. So then, yeah, we moved home and it became real. Like, I remember, oh man, I think it was like 2 years ago, we like met up at the Abbey
Mm-hmm.
in Quincy, and we like discussed like a fake menu and stuff. And then it went like a whole year before we ever like was like, okay, this is for real.
Yeah.
And we started buying stuff.
So, okay, back up a little bit. First
Mm-hmm.
of all, how old are you today?
20.
20. That's insane. Like,
Yeah.
you're 20. I think your brother's what, 24, 25?
25.
Okay. That's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, you guys are like, you have how many employees? I mean, like over 10, right?
Oh yeah. I think 15.
Okay. Crazy.
Yeah.
So backing up, little backstory, like I've known your family for a while. I talked about this with Jordan a little bit. Like, your dad has helped us get started helped me get started in real estate. He helped us flip my first house. He was over there telling us what to do. I feel like your whole family has kind of like you're not a normal family, right? Like, none of you have just like done one thing, like, gone to be an accountant and just done that. Like, you guys are all like entrepreneurs, have started different things. Like Clayton, he's done real estate with me. He's done, he's in the electrician field now. He was you guys
Mowing.
you guys have all kinds of stuff going
Yeah.
on. Do you think that like, being an entrepreneur, is that something that you were kind of like born, the traits that you have, you were just born with, or is that something that like over time you become more of like an entrepreneur? I guess what I'm asking is like, did your parents rub off on you in any way?
Yeah, I definitely feel like the answer to that question is like how we were raised.
Mm-hmm.
My dad was an extremely hard worker, and I feel like that had a huge play in it.
Yeah.
And I never thought that I would be an entrepreneur ever. I was a very like go to work 9 to 5, come home, go to the gym, relax.
Yeah.
Never thought that I'd be working as many hours as I am now. But I think that the reason that I can is because I grew up like that. I
For
saw
sure.
my parents doing that. So
Yeah, to say your dad's a hard worker is like an understatement.
hmm
I mean, he's insane.
yeah,
I love it. Okay, so you graduated high school, and then what? Did you go straight to? Is it Batavia? Is that what you said?
hmm
Did you go straight
I did.
there? Okay.
Yeah, I moved to Batavia literally 3 days after I turned 18. And then I was only up there for 6 months, I think. And then I
Okay.
moved back and we started the business.
So at that point in time, was Jordan back in this area yet? Or had you guys started
Mm,
talking about the coffee business like when he was in Kansas City? Or
yeah.
no, he was in St. Louis.
Yes, we did.
Okay. Like what? That's the part that intrigues me because like there's so many numbers involved. Like, hey, are we going to be able to financially make this work? Like, how did you guys? I know Jordan like is more the numbers person, but did you go into it like I sure hope people show up to this thing?
Yes. So that is a huge reason why we did the trailer. Like before we even purchased the brick and mortar or did that, we did the trailer in case. Like obviously it was a huge leap of faith.
Mm-hmm.
That's why our name is what it is. But yeah, I don't know. Sorry, I lost my train of thought.
So backing up real quick, the Hebrews 11, right? What
Yeah.
was it? Hebrews 11.
Yes.
Not to put you on a spot, but is that like a favorite Bible verse or a chapter that you guys? Is that like a faith-based chapter or what?
Mm-hmm. So
I should know this, by the way.
No, you're fine. So Hebrews 11 in the Bible has the name the Hall of Faith because it
Okay.
goes through all of the people in the Bible that like had super strong faiths, and I literally had that name picked out since I was like 12. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah.
Because I've always dreamed about having my own coffee shop, and I was like Hebrews, I'm a Christian, coffee brew, whatever, and so that was never something we had to discuss. But then when we went to like make the name an LLC or whatever,
Mm-hmm.
our attorney was like, you have to have a number behind it due
Oh,
to like some other stuff. And we're like, that's when we chose 11
okay.
because of the Hall of Faith.
So yeah, you were saying like it took a lot of faith to get into this because like you really didn't have a proof of concept in this area. Like no one else had really had a legit coffee trailer, right? I mean, that I can think of.
Mm-mm.
What did that?
No.
I mean, was that something that you worried about getting into it? Like what if this doesn't work, or was this something you're just like, nah, we'll figure it out?
So that is where me and Jordan become really good business partners because I will never forget, like the first couple weeks, he was just like, if we had a slow day, he was like, oh, I'm just sick. This is
Oh, no.
this is just horrible, But I am extremely laid back. Like, obviously, there's pros and cons about the both of us, but I was just like, it's fine. Like, I literally had full faith and confidence that this business was going to succeed.
Yeah.
And I don't know where that came from, but I was like, Jordan, it's going to be fine. Like, I remember telling him, like, when we very first opened, it was like week 2, and we had maybe 50 cars a day. I was like, Jordan, give it like a year. We'll have a line to the road. You just wait.
50 cars a day. That sounds like a lot. Is that not a lot today?
No.
No, that's crazy.
Yeah.
So starting out like that first week, just to give people a little bit more context, you guys bought a trailer that you pull behind a truck, right?
Yeah.
Was it one that already was like modified with all the coffee stuff in there, or did you have to? I mean, I know the answer to this. I actually asked Jordan about it, but I guess what I'm asking is, you guys didn't buy this thing just already ready to go, right? You had to
Right.
do research and figure out, what equipment you wanted and things like that. Was that something that was more up Jordan's alley, like figuring out what coffee, like the espresso machines and the ice makers and all that, or was that something that you did?
Kind of the both of us. So like when it came to like the ice machine and the construction work, the sinks, the plumbing, all that was Jordan. But when it came down to like the espresso and like the coffee grinders and all that, I would say it was more of like a team thing. But like when it came down to like more of the coffee products, it was more me because I was more educated in that area. But yeah, as far as like picking the trailer and stuff, all Jordan.
Okay.
I don't know anything about.
So when you bought the trailer, did you guys already have like the place picked out where you're going to put it?
Oh, I think we did.
Okay.
Yes. We were planning on West Quincy, but we never had it like set in stone. But yeah, it worked out.
So that was kind of like a little bit of leap of faith too. Just
Mhm.
like, well, we'll just buy the thing and figure it out.
Yes, for sure.
Okay. So then you got the coffee trailer, you got the equipment all set up, found the location. That first, like the first week or so of ownership, like I just imagine like my brain, I'd be freaking out the whole week. Like how do we do this? You know, like the first customers start to show up, you're like, this is actually happening.
Yeah.
Do you have like any memories about like the first week or two of like, I don't know, just your thoughts? Like what were you thinking? You're like, this is awesome, or like, oh my, I'm scared to death about this?
Yes. So our very first event was Taste of Palmyra, and that was surreal. I remember like your sister worked. It was her first shift. And like we were just like, your mom was there, everybody, because we were just like so nervous for like what to expect. Lots of learning curves, like what do you do when a customer needs this or when this happens? Yeah, definitely a lot of fear. But so much excitement. Like it's honestly so amazing to like look back and be like, man, we got like a 6-drink order and we were like, that's so big. Like,
Yeah.
oh my goodness, we just got 6 drinks. And now that's like a daily thing, you know, just to see the growth of the business. But I guess, yeah, in the beginning, it was a lot of fear, but I tried my best to be like confident.
Yeah.
Because customers can feel that.
Yeah,
you know?
that's true.
So I was just like, act like you know what you're doing. Act like you've been doing this forever. But
That's like, it's terrible, but that's the way I feel like in real estate too. I'm like, some days I have no clue what I'm doing. And it's just like, not really fake it till you make it, but act confident and you'll figure it out. Right.
Yep.
Do you have any, I probably shouldn't ask this question. You don't have to answer it, but like, do you have any like horror stories of just like days that went terribly wrong? Like maybe you ran out of something, or like, I don't know, an employee walked out. I don't know, like anything that pops out, like fun horror stories.
In all honesty, we've been blessed with like a really great team. Oh, actually, yeah, I have one. I think the worst thing that happened with us was in the trailer during the winter seasons was the heaters. You had to keep like 4 heaters on. Did Jordan tell you this story?
No, I think I heard, I think Katie was involved with this story.
Yeah.
Or like when she was working or something.
Yes.
Okay.
The heaters did not get turned on. And ultimately it's my fault because I was supposed to check every night that they were still running. But surprisingly enough, just one heater didn't get turned on. And just that one made the big difference. And we got there Monday morning and everything was frozen. Like literally the espresso machine was frozen. We have this like water tank in there. I kicked it like a solid block of ice.
What was it, like 0 degrees out?
Oh yeah. And it was like, well, I never went and checked on the trailer because it wasn't that cold the night before. And then in the middle of the night, it like froze.
Man.
So it was crazy. Like we were sick. Like we cried, we prayed because we thought we were going to lose everything because we could have.
Yeah. And that stuff, I mean, you know, I know the numbers are kind of confidential, but like those coffee machines are so expensive, right? I mean,
oh yeah.
Have you over time started to like upgrade equipment, or are you still using like all the original stuff?
No, we've definitely upgraded. So when we first started out, we had a 2-head. So that's 4 shots. Now we have a 3-head, which is 6 shots.
Okay.
So in the trailer, everything's the same from when we started, but then the building's like all upgrades pretty much.
Okay. So when was it you guys were, you know, starting to pick up, business was rolling in? At what point were you like, hey, this is working, like we're growing? Was it like instantly, or did it take you a while to like finally relax a little bit and be like, hey, we're doing this thing?
It took a while, a few months for sure.
Okay.
Because we would have really good days and then we'd have really bad days. We've found out that marketing is huge, super, super, super important. I didn't do good at marketing in the beginning. But yeah, now that we've learned, I would say within the first 5 to 6 months,
okay,
we were probably at a comfortable like confidence that we were going to succeed.
So what did it look like in terms of like hiring people? I think early on, I know my sister started pretty early on, Katie. I know some of your family was helping, like I think your mom helps quite a bit. When did you guys like hire your first like legit well, I guess maybe Katie was like a legit employee.
Yeah. Katie was probably our first real hire, but yeah, starting off, I mean, it was all friends or family.
Mm-hmm.
Our first like real hire, I would say maybe 3 months. That might be a little far out, but yeah, I'll never forget it. I think we posted that we were hiring, I believe, and some random girl reached out and we did an over the phone interview. And I remember it being like such a big deal and we were so worried about it. Hired her, and then we just continued to get busier and busier. And then we extended our hours because it's crazy to think, but I don't even know if you remember when we first opened, we were closed at 3, I think. And now we're open till 7. So when we extended our hours, that's when we really brought on a lot more.
Were you day one open like all week, or was it just like certain days of the week?
You'd think I'd remember. I know we were closed on, I think, Sundays and Mondays.
Mm-hmm.
And then open Tuesday through Saturday.
Well, you've probably gone through like multiple revisions of your schedule and stuff, so it's probably kind of hard to remember.
Yeah. Ours have changed quite a bit. But
what are like some of the things that I don't know, like stick out like business wise, like different lessons you've learned, I guess, through this whole thing, whether it's like it could be anything from, you know, have enough money in reserves, or make sure you have enough staff hired, or make sure you've got enough supplies, or like what are some of the like things that stick out to you from running the business for like a year? Like what are some of those big things you think about?
I would say, yeah, inventory is huge. Like inventory has been an issue, and we've definitely learned to be overstocked. It's always better to be overstocked than understocked because we ran out of things multiple times. Staffing, definitely overstaff, surprisingly. I'd rather send someone home than have to call somebody in.
Yeah.
I would say, honestly, the biggest lesson I've learned, like for myself personally, is to let myself go home. Like I definitely for a period of time overworked myself.
Yeah.
Coffee and like working in this industry is my passion. I enjoy it thoroughly, but I was working way too many hours a day, and then I became bitter towards the business.
Yeah.
And there was definitely like 2 months in there that my attitude and like my work, not ethic, but like my work drive was not there. And it was affecting the business. Like I could tell.
Yeah.
And I was like, you got to get a grip. And so Jordan and I have got really good at being like, okay, you can go home. Like go home, spend some time, like do some stuff for yourself. Mental health is important. So that's like a really big thing, I feel like, for me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think a lot of people don't think about the stress that comes along. I mean, like you think of like, oh, it's a coffee shop. Like how complicated can it be? But I mean, just even the stories I hear from Jordan, from you, from my sister, just the stress, like how do you handle the stress? What is like some of the best ways that you've learned, like on those days where everything's just like, oh my word, what are we doing? This is terrible.
Yeah. I always tell myself being the boss is hard sometimes, especially for how young I am.
Yeah.
Because
20? You said 20, right?
Yeah. I literally have people working for me that are older than me.
Yeah.
And I have to be the bigger person. And if I act stressed out or if I act up, it affects everybody in the room. So I always remind myself, like, stay calm, stay cool, stay collected. Like, you're literally affecting everybody in this room right now. So what I've learned is I literally just take a deep breath. Like, I'll literally sometimes turn around and I'll take a deep breath and be like, what do we need to do?
Yeah.
Don't worry. I realized if I like try to rush, I make a bigger mess. And I take like a mental like notebook in my head kind of, and I'm like, what do you need to do first? And like take your time, talk through this, get the girls in the correct positions, because they'll get like super
like flustered.
Yeah, they get super flustered and they're doing things that just doesn't make sense, and like the system isn't there anymore.
Yeah.
So I kind of just have to walk in and be like, okay, you know, so and so, you be here, and you do this. And
that's awesome. I love that. Like you're 20 and you're figuring all this out. Like
it's caused me to grow up very fast.
So, I mean, I feel like that's one of the biggest lessons people tell me that they've learned through their businesses. Like you're starting to think about like the systems that run your business. You're working on the business, not in the business. So for you, it's like more important. It's not so much that you can make the perfect latte. It's like, how can you put the right people in the right place and make sure the machine runs?
Right.
Which is like something you're already doing, which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
It is surreal. But
tell me about like, well, first of all, I'm curious, like when someone comes through the drive-through, what's the drink that when you hear it, you're like, oh, like I don't want to make that thing. There's got to be one. Cause I think about this when I order something, it like, I'm trying to think where it was. Oh, we were at an ice cream shop. And, you know, most of the time they're just, you know, dishing out a couple things of ice cream. Well, Devin and I ordered, we were in Prescott and we ordered a, is it called an acai bowl or something?
Yeah.
So it's like blended stuff. And I like totally saw the people like both of the employees were like, oh, come on.
Yeah.
Like, and then the ones like, oh, do you want to make it? To the other employee.
Right.
Is there anything like that for you guys that you're like, I mean, I know it's not that big a deal, but is harder to make?
Yes, for sure. Everybody, I'm pretty sure every barista that works for us, everybody's least favorite drink to make is the Reese's Cup.
Okay.
It's only a blended drink, but it has peanut butter in it. And so your hands always get like super dirty. I know it's stupid, but
no,
yeah,
it's
your hands get dirty. It's hard to like put in the cup because it's thick and it falls all over you. And yeah, so
I'm sure there's a lot. Yeah. I mean, there's so much that goes into it. And like you said, it's like a system. And so when you like disrupt it, it's probably hard to, I don't know. It can just mess up the flow. So what does it look like? So like behind the scenes. So, you have, I guess I should tell people like you had the trailer and then you went to the brick and mortar, right? I think the first days of the brick and mortar, you just had people come right up to the window, right? Just like the trailer to order. Or did you have like that speaker system or intercom system day one?
Day one, we had the intercom.
Okay.
Yeah.
You did. So how does that work? Like behind the scenes, someone pulls up to the speaker. First of all, how do you know they're there? And then like, is the person who's taking that also making the drink? How does that work?
So we always have a minimum of 2 people, majority of the time 3 or 4 people staffed at a time. So there's always one person at the point of sale system. And when somebody pulls up to the intercom system, there's like a sensor, so it beeps. Okay. So it notifies us that there's a customer. The girl doing the window and taking the order, that's strictly her job. So she'll take it, and then this is all Jordan, but
she takes the order. Like, does she have like a headset on or something?
No. So it's like what Steak and Shake uses, they said, and maybe some other older businesses. But you literally just hold down the button and speak, and then let go to hear them.
Oh, okay.
So
can everyone in the room hear the order?
Yes.
Okay.
And you can control the sound of it. Some girls don't put it that loud. But
so the same person who's at the window is also taking the order. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Okay.
So they hear the order, they put it in the system, and then they stand there and take the next order. And Jordan set it up. This is all his idea, but he has like a TV set up in there, and then once they put that order in the system and the little iPad, it automatically shoots up to like the big TV that everybody in the room can see. So they can see the ticket, like we need to make this. And then that's where the second barista comes in play, which is down at bar, and they make the drinks.
Okay.
So when we're like super busy, so like our busiest days on Saturdays and Fridays, we have 4 people. So we actually have one person doing strictly just taking like the order and like saying, how can I help you? And then putting in like the drink. Then there's a second barista that's at the legit window who's taking the money and handing the drink out the window. And then there's 2 more people down on bar.
What does that mean on bar? That's the people who are like literally standing there.
Yeah. So like making the espresso drinks, like I usually assign one to like blended and Lotus, and then the other one's pulling espresso shots and making like the iced lattes or hot lattes.
Okay.
So
how did you figure all that out? Was it just like trial and error, like what works?
Oh, 100%. Yes. Trial and error. And Jordan's very, very good with coming up with like systems. Like he's the one that came up with the whole intercom, the TV with the tickets on it. He's very like gifted in that area for like seeing something and like having it come to life, I guess. But
he mentioned you guys work really well together. You have too. I mean, just like you're not opposites, but like I feel like you have, maybe you are opposites, but you have like very complementary can't say that word, that like skills. So like I see him as more actually you explain like what are your roles like? What's his personality like versus yours?
I guess I'm blown away that me and Jordan are business partners. Growing up, like no offense to him, but we were like never close. Yeah. It was always like me and Trevin, or me and Clayton. I was never close to Jordan, and now like he's obviously probably one of the closest people in my life. I know him so well. He knows me so well, and I am blown away at how great of a team we make. I thought we've been open for a year now. I thought by now we would have gotten like some kind of business argument, business fight, whatever. We haven't. Like we literally, I don't know if we just understand each other or what. He is, I guess to answer your question, he's definitely the money man. So payroll, all that jazz. He's in charge of it. When it comes to obviously something breaking, like construction or anything of that sort, that's him. Gravel, pulling the trailer. More of like the manly jobs, like not to put it in categories, but that's definitely what he does. I am more of, I feel like I'm sometimes better at like controlling the women, you know, because I am one. And then like all the barista, all that jazz. If girls have questions about drinks or creating the drinks.
So you're actually the one that's like figuring out how to make them. It's not Jordan. He's not doing any of the like ingredients and all that.
Yeah. I guess to like make to make the answer simple, I guess I would be more of like the person behind the science of the coffee, and he's more one that like is putting the systems in place to make the business flow.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
And you guys probably also like tag team some stuff, like the overall management of it. And how often are you, because I know he's very numbers driven, he's very analytical. How often are you like looking at the numbers and like, okay, like today we're, you know, behind what we were yesterday? Or is that something you just don't like really look at?
So starting out, I never did, like in all honesty, and he would tell me things and I'd be like, no way. But the longer I'm in the business, the more I'm turning into him. Yeah. And I'm becoming extremely like interested and passionate about that. So I have access to it, obviously. So as of recent, I've been looking into it. But he definitely knows more of like what it costs to get, like how many cents is in one pump of product, you know?
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, there's so much that goes into it that I never thought about before I started hearing Jordan talk. Like even the cups and everything, like I think during COVID you guys had like a hard time finding the cups, right? And I'm sure that, you know, if you buy a different brand, like it cuts into the profit margin if you're like overpaying it by much. And there's so many like little numbers involved that people don't think about.
Right.
How often are people, this is probably kind of frustrating to you guys, but like messing a drink up and you guys just have to throw it out? Does it happen very often?
Yes. Yes. And it's a sore topic because the girls, the baristas, it's a job. They're working 9 to 5 or whatever, you know, so it's like a mistake drink, throw it out. And Jordan and I have brainstormed so many different ways to make like an incentive for them to be like, okay, you mess up that drink. That's, you know, me and Jordan, that's 50 cents or whatever it is. That gets out of your paycheck. You know, obviously we wouldn't do that, but it happens all the time. Yeah. And it's like, as a business owner, it's like I see that like one pump of mocha go down the drain and I just
it just hurts a little bit, right? Yeah. That's something that a non-business owner just wouldn't think about. Right. And you think about like all these massive companies out there, like the Walmarts of the world and just any big massive company, and how much waste there probably is because some employees just don't care. I've heard you guys have really good employees, but I know like just, the little thing, like an extra pump of something. Yeah. Like, stab in the heart. Yeah. Oh man. Yeah. So I'm curious, like, I think I asked Jordan a question similar to this, but like all this experience you're getting at 20 is like incredible. Do you think this will open the door for like other businesses in the future, or are you like, this is good, you know, after this coffee shop I'm done, you know, in the business world? Or is it kind of exciting to you to be like, okay, if we can do this, what else can we do?
That does excite me. I think, to speak for myself, I think Jordan's is probably different, his opinion on it. For me personally, I would be very happy to like own Hebrews and grow it. Like it excites me. Like we are literally just like tapping the surface right now with what we can do, and that excites me, the different avenues that we can take. But as far as like another business, I would no, me personally.
Your passion is in the coffee business.
Right. And I would be happy to own this place for 10, 15, 20, 25 years and then retire, sell it or whatever, and then be done.
Yeah. But. Okay. So if you were going to expand in like a certain area, would it be you would buy more trailers to take around to different locations, or would it be like maybe a brick and mortar location?
Definitely brick and mortar. The trailer was a great way to start, just with the fact that there was so much like that was so much faith involved.
Mm-hmm.
It could have failed, but it's a ton of work. A ton of work.
Why? What is it that makes it a lot more work? Just the fact that you have to move it?
Yes. Well, the water, you're limited on everything. So you only have like 3 bottles of syrup. You only have so much water, so much ice. There's no heating. There's no air. So like and during the winter and like the summer seasons, it's brutal, like super hot, super cold.
Yeah.
So and then like obviously in the winter, like the potential of things freezing and stuff. And then yeah, pulling it, it's you have to like start your day, like if you open at 7, you know, we have to be there at like what, 5:30.
Yeah.
Versus getting there just half an hour early. And then like the whole cleaning process is always like you have to literally restock it and everything. There's just so many like things that we didn't think about that we've obviously learned. But having a brick and mortar where everything is there, all of the inventory, plumbing, everything, it's so much more convenient.
So, with the coffee the coffee trailer, how does that work? Like when you guys are going, like you said, the first thing you went to is the Palmyra. What was that?
Taste of Palmyra.
Taste of Palmyra.
Yeah.
Is that something where you guys are reaching out to people and like, hey, can we come to this event? Or is it now to the point where people are like calling you and be like, hey, will you come to our event? How does that work?
Super interesting. So when we first started, it was us reaching out to
like
as many
cold calling people.
What?
Just like cold calling people, like
Yeah.
random places.
Yeah, we definitely focused on, so like Hannibal Regional, that's somewhere we still go. You know, that's Farm and Home is a better example. Like we just called them and we're like, hey, can we sit the trailer here? It was never like us calling like specific vendor or like events, I guess. It was just more locations that we thought that it would be successful with like a lot of traffic, I guess, if that makes sense. But now it's like we have to deny people because we have so many inquiries about, can you come here? Can you come here?
That's awesome. How do you schedule them out like way in advance? I mean, do you know for like a month ahead of time, like you're going to be here on this date, or is it like
if people call us that far in advance, then yes. We have a very consistent schedule as of right now. So we know where we're going to be every Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday. And that's just set in stone. But yeah.
Okay. I also am curious. So like, I'm the type of person that I always get the same drink every time I go. Well, I did try the pumpkin pie latte, not pumpkin spice.
Okay.
Which was like really good.
Good.
Pumpkin pie. But my point was like, I don't typically get I always get the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
What are like some of the seasonal drinks you have? Like obviously the pumpkin in the fall, but like, is there like a seasonal thing for like the spring and the summer?
Honestly, not really.
Okay.
I would say honey lavender for the spring is huge. That's very popular, like just all across.
You know what? I tried that.
Yeah.
That was good.
Yes, that's a super popular one. Other than that, no, honestly, so I've obviously had to create a menu for every season now that we've been open a year. Spring and summer were the hardest because there's so many basics. Like winter, you have the peppermint.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously pumpkin's huge, but summer and spring is just kind of like what kind of floral drinks do you put in a latte?
Yeah.
You know, it took a lot of research and like taste testing to get a menu.
Would you ever like branch into other things? Like, would you ever like serve like ice cream or like shaved ice or anything like that? Or is it pretty much like, no, we're just serving the coffee?
So me and Jordan have discussed this, and I think that we're just going to stay coffee. We'll never branch into anything else, I don't think. We did try the ice cream and didn't go over super well.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. Was that something you like just bought tubs of it local?
No, we literally made it homemade and like bought the ice cream machine.
Oh, that'd be so much work.
Yeah. Yeah. And so we'll probably bring it back this spring. People liked it, but once again, my marketing skills were not there. So I think that's why it kind of just got forgotten about. But personally, speed is something that we care about a lot. And so I personally think that if the more things you add, the bigger chance there is of people forgetting recipes, messing up recipes. And yeah, we're a coffee shop, you know, we're not a bakery.
Yeah.
So
we have a mutual friend, Kyle Reinhardt, up in Central Illinois.
Yeah.
I remember the day that he called me, he was like, hey, I'm thinking about buying this old building and turning it into a coffee shop. I'm like, oh boy, sounds like a lot of work.
Yeah.
And I think they're expanding today. And that was like probably over 5 years ago now.
Yeah.
And are they more of a bakery?
Okay. You're talking about Common Grounds.
Yes.
They have like food products and stuff. Like they have like a
Okay.
whole menu, like kitchen and sandwich and stuff. And then they have coffee too.
Okay. So that's something that you guys are at this point like, no, like we don't want to get in that deep to stuff.
Yeah.
Keep it more simple.
We've considered it and we've gone back and forth multiple times, but I think after a year we've decided it's not what we want to get into.
Yeah.
I feel like if you offer food and sandwiches and stuff, you have to have a sit down area. I don't know, maybe that's just a mental block in my head, but we have discovered that we're strictly drive through.
Okay.
It's convenient and that's what people like.
I wanted to ask about that. So your thoughts about like an indoor place where you can go and like sit and hang out, it's really not beneficial for you guys to have that.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Come on. I want you guys to build a really cool coffee hangout. There's like very few in Quincy.
I know.
Come on.
I know. Maybe a small one. When it was just my dream, that's what we were planning on doing. And then the whole trailer thing started. And then we discovered drive-through is like where you get most people because they don't want to get out. They want something fast and convenient. So I don't know. I guess I shouldn't say no. Maybe we will.
Yeah, I mean the rate that you guys grew in the last year. I mean, who knows what 2 years from now, 3 years from now looks like.
Yeah.
Okay, what is a Lotus drink? I hear all about. Never had one.
Really?
It's like a colorful drink, right?
Yeah.
Is it like an energy drink of some sort?
It is. I always like the baby way to explain it to make it super easy to understand is it's basically carbonated, caffeinated, and it has a ton of flavor. We add flavor to it, and then it makes it like super flavorful. It's like a healthy energy drink, pretty much.
Where does the color come from? Is that just like a food coloring?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't know where that came from.
Yes.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, because I feel like that's like the biggest phase right now is like Lotus drinks.
I know. It's crazy. And I feel like it might die off. Like it might just be a trend right now.
Yeah.
But I'm not complaining. Like we literally, like looking at sales, we sell pretty much 50-50 Lotus and coffee.
Interesting. Is Lotus, is that more of like a younger person thing? Or do you spot that like the different age groups like tend to get like certain things?
Oh, 100%. Yeah. The youth is for like the Lotus is for the youth.
Yeah.
For sure. I don't know. I do get some like older moms or like some grandmas, like, they like it. They're just scared to try it. But
so what are some other trends that you pick up like that certain people order?
Well, obviously a given, like the elderly is just a black drip coffee.
Yeah.
You see that one come in. A lot of like middle-aged, honestly, I feel like majority of our audience, like majority of our people is, I would say anywhere from like late 20s to like 50s, like parents.
Okay.
And that's the specialty espresso. That's like where a lot of our sales come from. So like caramel toffee crunch, salted caramel white mocha, all that stuff. An espresso drink with flavors in it.
That's what that is. It's just a shot of espresso and you guys are just putting like a pump of something in it?
Yeah.
Okay.
All of our drinks, like almost all of our drinks is literally espresso, milk, and flavor.
But are they drinking just that or are you adding then milk, like a latte?
Yes. We add
Okay.
the milk.
Okay.
Yes.
So a typical latte, just like a small latte, is just a shot of espresso. If they want a flavor, pump of flavor, vanilla, whatever. I'm a vanilla plain guy.
Yeah.
And then like a cup of milk or something.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
Also, like, I know Devin, she has like the special order or whatever, and it's like soy milk or,
Yeah.
Is that something, is it like 50-50 people who get like actual milk and then the other half get like some other version of milk? That weird stuff that people drink?
Probably like, I don't know, man. We sell a ton of oat milk. I would say it would be pretty close to 50-50. I'm not going to lie.
Is that, okay, so there's oat milk. Is there such thing as soy milk?
There is. We don't offer it.
Okay.
But there
milk
is.
We use. And can you taste the difference? Like if you're just to drink a glass of that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
I don't think I've
absolutely.
ever had it. I've had sips of Devon's. I'm like, this just doesn't taste right. Like, you need the
Yeah.
normal milk.
Yeah. I know the normal milk is much better. Like it tastes better, I think. But some people it's like a dairy allergy.
Yeah.
Other people it's literally just their preference. Or like for me, I always do almond just because like for
Okay.
people that are dieting or whatever, it's
Yeah.
less calories.
Do you have people that come through the line like every day?
Oh my word, yes. I love it. Honestly, my favorite part about the job. I love working the window. I love getting to know the regulars. There are so many customers that we literally call by name. We see their car pulling and we know them.
So, like, do you know by the car, or can you actually pick out like their voice? Like, if you're working, you're not working the window or whatever, and you hear them order, can you know
Yeah.
who it is?
Yeah, we actually have one guy. We have like multiple people that have been coming since like day one.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I think this is so funny, but there is one specific customer that comes so much. So we have a loyalty system, and Jordan got a notification, and they thought that he was hacking it and like giving himself points.
Yeah.
Because he was getting that many, but it was just that he comes that much.
No way.
Like literally up to 4 times a day.
What in the world was he ordering? Like just black coffee? Or is he getting like a special drink every time?
Every morning at 5:30, about 5:30 or 6, he gets a black coffee, like on the dot. And then he usually comes in a few hours later and gets a Lotus.
Okay.
And then he usually comes back and gets another coffee like midday, and then sometimes 1 or maybe 2 more times before he goes home, he gets 2 more Lotus.
Oh my goodness. Is he like he's got to be shaking with all
I
that
know.
much caffeine.
I mean, like in his defense, he works literally like right down the road.
Okay.
But
Yeah, that's the one thing. My coffee habits, I mean, it's not bad. I don't take it, I drink it. I drink 4 shots of espresso a day, typically. That's not bad, right? Because like I think isn't like the daily limit supposed to be like 400 milligrams, 300 or 400 milligrams or something?
yeah.
Do you know what a shot has in
Yeah.
it?
1 shot of espresso has 80 milligrams of caffeine.
80?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah. And then sometimes I do have a Monster in the afternoon also. So, might be pushing a little bit.
It's easy to get addicted to caffeine. I'll say that.
Do you think, I mean, the amount of people that come through the drive-through today, if you looked at like the last 2 months, is it pretty steady? Like it's the same customers coming over? Or I guess my question is really, are new people finding the coffee shop, or do you feel like everyone pretty much knows about it in this area by now?
We still have new customers. I would say at least once a week I hear, like while I'm in the back room, like, this is my first time here.
Okay.
You know?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And you've mentioned marketing a couple times. Like, how is that how they're finding you, or is it more just like driving by?
Word of mouth is huge, I think. Also marketing. So just in the past, like since we've got help with the marketing, our page has grown a lot, and that's caused a lot of new people too. A lot of new followers, a lot of new customers. So marketing and word of mouth, I feel like, are the biggest things.
Marketing, like what have you found works the best? Is it like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn? Like what are you using?
So we only do Instagram and Facebook. I
Okay.
think Facebook draws a lot more people, a lot more. Reels are huge. Do you know what a reel
Yep.
is?
I'm not that old.
Sorry, Jordan does not know, and everybody makes fun of him.
I'm
Bless
a
his
little
heart.
I'm a little bit too entrenched in social media, hence the podcast, but I do know what a reel is.
Yeah, okay, great. So yeah, those are huge. I don't know if you saw, but our biggest, like just last week, we did a reel and it got like over 17,000 views.
No,
Might
what
not-
was it?
Our giveaway.
Okay.
So yeah, it drew a ton of people. It's probably like, I know that you're like super into it, so that's probably normal to you, but for us, it was huge, like
No, that's
17,000. So reels have probably got the most views and the most interaction.
Okay. And that's on Instagram, right?
Yeah.
And-
We also post them to Facebook.
Okay.
But yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy the reach that you can have through social media. And
Yeah.
I told Jordan this, but something I always find interesting, like when you guys on your Instagram page reshare like people who are getting coffee, and like you know, they're on their stories, they're sharing a picture of them getting their coffee, and then you guys share it to your page, right? I think it's always interesting because you're like, as a potential customer, you're looking at that and you're like, oh, so and so is getting coffee there, and oh, this person's there. Like,
Yeah.
it just like, it's almost gives you more confidence. Like, hey, this is the place to be, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's like the more you can get that out there, the better.
Yeah, it's definitely, and I'm like humbled to even say this, to be honest, but like it's a trend I've noticed. Like a lot of people are like, oh, I've seen this everywhere and I want to know what the hype's about. So they come and like, I remember when Carter's first opened and it was like everybody was posting, you know, like the picture of their cup, you know, like all the high
Yeah.
schoolers or whatever, the young girls. And it's so funny to see that now, like that people are doing that with our logo and our cup,
Yeah.
you know, like it's surreal.
I know, that is so cool. It's like your brand that, you know, came from scratch. And
Right.
now people are like loyal followers
Yeah.
coming through the coffee place 4 times a day.
Yeah.
Do you know, I mean, when people come through, like the regulars, do most people just order the same exact thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
The regulars, we pretty much know what
Yeah.
they get.
Yeah, that's kind of how I am. So I'm curious, what is like, because I mean, as a business owner, I'm sure your days vary because there might be an emergency that pops up, someone doesn't show up. But what's just like a standard day in the life like for you right now?
Well, I usually get up anywhere between 4 and 6. I know that's kind of like a gap, but that's usually like when I set my alarm. I get up, get ready, and I go straight to the shop.
The shop, what's the shop?
Hebrews.
Oh, the coffee shop.
The
Okay.
coffee shop, yeah.
I thought you meant like a garage or something.
Oh, yeah,
Okay.
no. Yeah, I go straight out to Hebrews. And then I always make sure everything's going smoothly. That's why I like to get out there so early, to make sure that like there's no.
What time did you say you get out there?
So we open at 5:30, and I usually get out there anywhere between like 5 to 6:30.
Okay.
I would say on a normal day. But yeah, I always just like to make sure that everyone's there, everyone showed up, and everything's going good, everything's going smooth. We do bottled drinks now.
Okay.
So usually one of the first things on my to-do list is to make sure there was no bottled drinks ordered overnight that I need to get done. And then we have a back room. We're in the process of turning it into an office, but it is where Jordan and I hang out. That way we can be there if there is an emergency, but still get our work done. I do a lot of laptop work, like responding to customers, dealing with phone calls, meetings with like marketing, meetings with merchandise, creating new merchandise. I feel like I'm always working on that. And a lot of like, I go in the back office, like in all honesty, like a typical day is I go in the back office, I open my laptop and I start responding to customers.
Responding to them where?
Oh, on email.
Email?
Instagram.
Who's emailing a coffee shop?
Oh my. We have the most craziest things. Like we have people literally email us asking if they'll open early for them.
No way.
Yeah, we'll have a lot of inquiries about, can you bring the trailer to us?
Okay.
I respond to a lot of that. Questions like nutrition facts in the drinks, questions about something went wrong, they need a refund, or angry customers, people, honestly, all kinds.
Yeah.
That you would never expect. Like people wanting to work for us, applications.
Yeah, I seriously, like, as you're saying this, I'm like, wow, there's a lot. Yeah, that goes into this you don't think about.
Right. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm trying to think what I get, because I feel like I'm constantly on Facebook Messenger. Just random stuff, like where are you guys at today with the trailer? What time do you guys open? What's in this drink? What's in that drink? So I try to be very good, and Jordan has definitely like ingrained this in my head, which I'm grateful for, but like responding immediately. So like always
if like a customer's like reaching out on like Facebook.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm always doing that. And then, like I said, I feel like I'm in the middle of doing that, and then there'll be a customer that wants to speak to the owner. Okay. Or someone will come in, like Pepsi, they need to place an order, like get our Lotus order, or some random person wants to speak to, Jordan or I. Yeah. It's like I'm constantly getting interrupted and the days just fly. I do work as a barista sometimes. I'll have to like cover for people unexpectedly a lot. So some days my days are filled with that.
Which then like probably throws off other things like responding to the emails and the Facebook stuff, right?
Yeah. So, like, if I work as a barista, I'm usually working at least, like, a 14-hour day at least, because I have to do all that after the shift,
Do you ever, like, wake up in the morning and just like, nah, I'm not going in today. I want to stay home and watch Netflix.
Oh, I wish. No.
You can't, right?
No, I can't. No. But I love it. Like, literally, it's been so good for me. Like I said, before this job, I was just, go home, relax, do my thing. It's really taught me so much discipline. It's grown me as a person so much.
Yeah. Sorry, everyone. I don't know if you can hear that. My computer is freaking out. I don't know what it's doing. But yeah, sorry, I cut you off there.
You're good.
I mean, do you feel like I feel like also, so not only have you fulfilled like a lot in your life, but also like the people that are working for you, I mean, you're helping them figure out what they want to do next and instilling dreams in them. I mean, that's the thing. Like, you probably don't know the impact you're having on them.
Right. I have no idea. And sometimes it slaps me across the face and I'm like, Shalise, like, you have a Christian-based business and you have the opportunity to literally change these girls' lives. Like, your manager, you work alongside her every single day. Like, you could literally, like, teach her about Jesus, like, bring people to Christ. Like, I don't realize it, but, like, someone mentioned it to me the other day. Like, people are looking up to you. Like, they're like, what should I do? Like, Shalise has her own business. What does she do? I want to do it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying, like, I'm humbled to say that. Like, I don't feel like I'm just a normal human, but, like, it is crazy to even think about that.
Does the pressure ever become too much where you're like, who am I to be doing all this?
Yeah. There are often times that I'll be driving to work, like, in the morning and the sunset's coming up and I'll just start sobbing because I am, like, overwhelmed that I've been blessed with what I have been. Yeah. I feel so undeserving of it, to be honest.
It almost gives me the chills because seriously, you're 20, Jordan's 24, and it's just been so cool to see. I love watching the growth of businesses. It's just crazy.
Yeah.
To see that.
Yeah.
So, okay, back to kind of day in the life.
Yeah.
So how does it work? Like the chain of command, like, let's say, I mean, I know it's just you and Jordan. It's not like a massive, you don't have a board of directors and all that, but, okay, let's say something happens, like a machine goes down or someone calls in, sick. How does that, where's that phone call go? Does that go to you? Does that go to Jordan? And then what? Like, are you just jumping on the phone and I don't know, just like take me through some of that stuff.
Absolutely. So obviously me and Jordan as like the owner operator, I would say underneath us, we have probably Shania, actually. I don't know if you knew she's working for us, but she's kind of like an assistant, I would say is a good fitting word for her. And then underneath her, we have a manager, Bella. Okay. So if you're working, just to take it like step by step, if the girls are working and something goes wrong in the shop, the first person they go to is Bella, if me and Jordan are not there. Okay. And then Bella, if she can't solve the problem, she calls me or Jordan, and then we take care of the issue. If it has anything, Shania's like main thing is scheduling. So like if there's like somebody not coming into work, they call Shania, and then Shania calls us. Okay. If that makes sense. Yeah. And then me and Jordan kind of hash it out. It's just between us to figure out who's going to cover the shift, or if it's something that I can take care of, or like if it's an angry customer, it's something I could run to the shop and fix. If it's like a water line, that's obviously something he has to do. So those are like kind of like the four or the three. Okay. I don't know, me and Jordan, Shania, and Bella.
Yeah, that helps. So it's not like every little thing is coming straight to your cell phone.
Yeah, exactly. And it used to. And that's why I was like, okay, like Bella, or I'm Shania, you're in charge of all the baristas. And they call you, not me. Because my phone, like my personal phone, is actually like our business number.
Oh, that's what I was going to ask. Like, yeah, what people are actually calling. So it's your phone.
Yes. So we should probably change that because it can be overwhelming at times.
So if the hospital wants to have you come out to their parking lot, they actually will like Google your number and it's straight to you. Yeah. Okay. Yep. Yeah. I remember. I feel like when I was 20, I mean, you and Jordan are definitely ahead of where I was, like in the business world at 20. You guys' age. But I remember certain times, like, because I'm in real estate and I'd have tenants, twice my age, just like you have customers twice your age. And, asking me a question, I'm like, who am I, like, to figure this out? Like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. Do you ever have, like, well, you kind of talked a little bit, but I call it, like, the imposter syndrome, or I don't call it that. It's, called the imposter syndrome, where it's like, sometimes you're just like, like, yeah, I have no idea what I'm doing. I shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah.
I mean, are you over that at this point? Or are there still days where you're just like, what are we doing? I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, that definitely does still happen. I feel like within a year we've definitely had enough learning curves to get it all figured out, but definitely not all.
You're always going to be growing, right?
Exactly. Yeah, there's always going to be new things that we never expected. But yeah, I mean, actually this morning, a good example, like I showed up and Bella, my manager, was like, Shalise, I have no idea what's going on with this espresso machine. It's leaking. She's like, I showed up late. I don't have time for this, whatever. And I was like, oh, cool. I don't know either, but I'm going to act like I do. So I was like, let's just start pushing buttons, And I was like, okay, yep. And I figured it out. All I did was turn it off and turn it back on. But, you
just
act like,
keeping that level head,
yeah,
right?
Like, we got this, no need to freak out. So.
Yeah, it's like you figure out who you are in times of pressure, right?
Exactly. 100%.
Do you, when you're hiring someone, I know you guys are only a year into this, but like, is there something you're looking for when you're hiring someone, like certain traits in them, or what do you think about when you're hiring a barista?
The level of like, I've definitely learned like different, I don't know what the right word is, but I've definitely learned like what things to pick up on, like red flags in people, I guess. But like biggest things is like respectful, like someone that is very, like you can tell they're mature, you know. We've raised our like hiring age to 18.
Oh, okay.
Like because someone that's like mature and has had experience is huge. Experience is something I look for as well. Someone that's really good at like communication, that can like carry a conversation.
Yep.
That's pretty big. In an interview, I would say like you don't really know much about the person. So those are like little things that I really look for. The way that they answer.
Do you have in-person interviews, or is it still over the phone?
In person.
Okay.
For sure. Yeah.
Is it typically like within that first sit down that you're like yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay.
Based off like the way they carry themselves and the way they carry a conversation, I feel like I can usually pick up on it, but I'm not going to lie. We've definitely had, those times where people show their true colors after 2 weeks and we're like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah. Those are probably hard conversations to have. I mean, I only have one true employee. And so that's why, like I've told Jordan, I'm like, I don't know how you guys do it. There's so many different personalities, emotions, you guys are doing like a high stress job, there's pressure. It's like, and you got to manage all this and put all these people together.
Yeah.
And sounds like fun.
It's caused us to be very patient.
Yeah.
But yeah, I love, like, just personally, I love the challenge. I love learning. I love like pushing myself. Like a diamond is formed under pressure, right? Yep. And so like, I'm just like, let's do this. Like the other day we had like a super stressful day and I'm like, man, this is fun. Yeah. Like, we're learning, and just to get through it, I think it's awesome. We have a good team.
Growing pains are good, you know, when you're in pain. And then what's the saying? I've got a real estate buddy that says something like, it's like your most magnificent life lies right on the other side of uncomfortable. Yeah. So it's like, if you're always living in your comfort zone, it's like you're never going to grow. You're never going to get anywhere. Your business isn't going to move. It's like when you can get uncomfortable, you're just continuing to grow. Yeah.
I will say, like, huge shout out to Jordan, because when I first started, like, I was comfortable, man. Like, I didn't want to work 12-hour days. Count me out, And the people that you surround yourself is who you turn into. Yeah. And I'm so incredibly blessed to have Jordan as my business partner, because he is an outstanding person. And he's rubbed off on me in, like, good ways. And, it's awesome. He's really pushed me to, like, challenge myself. And he's taught me a lot about myself and, like, taught me how to discipline and everything. Like, I seriously, like, obviously we're 50-50. And I would never, ever, this business would not be where it's at if it was not for him. That is for sure.
Yeah. I feel like some of the best businesses in the world, it was a partnership, right? Yeah. And it's like one balanced out the other. Right. And I feel like as you guys continue to grow, it's like, maybe you don't have to work 12-hour days, or maybe you will, but let's say you don't. but the problems don't necessarily get any easier. It's like you're just working on a different problem. So it's
Yeah.
like, okay, first the problem is like, managing all the baristas is hard. Let's hire a manager. Okay, we got that done. But then the next problem is even bigger.
I
And
love that mindset. Yeah.
yeah, but like I feel like the longer you go, and you probably started to realize this, is like you think life doesn't get easier, but you get better at
Yeah.
figuring it out, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah, and just like you're talking about like the diamond thing, it's like, yeah, the pressure, it just gets greater and greater. And like the more pressure you're able to handle, it's like the better you can navigate the next problem.
Right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So just looking back, like zoom out over the last year, if you could actually go back to like, months before you started, if you could tell yourself something or like give yourself a piece of advice, what comes to mind?
Oh, wow. That is
About
a great question.
Yeah, about anything. Like, would you tell yourself not to start the business? Would you tell yourself, okay, think about this when starting the business, or, go, you need to work on this mindset, anything? Just what would you, I guess, let's say someone else is wanting to start a coffee business, definitely not around here.
Yeah.
Don't come to this area. But if they were thinking about it, what would your advice be to them? Like some things to think about.
Put your priorities like in your life first. Like the business is very important, but you still have to put yourself and your family in Christ. Things that you are passionate, like things in your life that are important to you, those you still have to focus on them.
Yeah.
I feel like I lost myself at one time. I used to be a super, super like went to the gym all the time. I read the Bible every morning. I had a great relationship with Christ. And I feel like the business just like consumed me and I lost that. I lost a lot of friends and I lost a lot of relationships. And I feel like a business is awesome and it's great to have this opportunity, but you can't lose sight of what is most important in your life.
Yeah.
Because money does not buy you happiness and money is not the only thing that matters.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, that's a good point.
I don't know.
That's really good advice. That's something that I don't think about enough. I mean, yeah, it's like kind of like if you think about being healthy. If you're not healthy, what's the point of being financially successful? Because you can't enjoy anything.
Right.
Your business, maybe it's not even financially successful, but things like that. Like if your spiritual health isn't there, like what's the point of? I guess you have to figure out there's some sort of balance.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but
yeah, I'm still learning too.
Yeah,
but
there's a balance. Well, I'm excited to see where you're at. In a couple years from now, you might have another location or two. That's one question I wanted to ask before we wrap up. And I know we don't need to like drop any names or anything like that, but what do you think about? What is your mindset when you see competition? Is it like you shut down, like you want to fight back, or is it like you welcome the competition? Is it good for the business? Is it bad for the business? Because like in the real estate space, when I see like a competitor, I have a lot of different thoughts and emotions. I'm just curious, what are some of the things you think about when like you see a competitor, or is there even a competitor?
Yeah, definitely. And I think I go through all the motions.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like there was definitely a time where I was like, I would get angry when like I assumed that we were losing customers due to competition.
Mm-hmm.
But then once again, I have that challenge mindset. So then it excites me almost like we have to have competition. It makes, if we didn't have competition, we could just be at the very bottom and not, figure out what else. Like competition's good for you because you're like, how can we be better? How can we level up? Does that make sense? So it's kind of exciting. I like competition because it's like, it challenges us to do different things to make us better as a business. And yeah, I guess those two things.
Yeah, that's that point you just were making right there. It's like capitalism. It's how it works. Like, and that's what's been awesome about the country that we live in. It's like because we have competition, it helps us to grow and to
Right.
If you didn't have a competitor, you're not going to challenge yourself, like you said, to grow. And that's just the beauty of the country that we live in. Like, yeah, competition sometimes is a bummer, but if you didn't have it, we'd probably all just be doing nothing.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, I know there's questions that I missed, so we're gonna have you probably on again. I don't know, next year, 6 months from now, see where you're at.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, I'm just trying to think. I think we pretty much covered everything for today. Thanks for coming. This was fun.
Thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here.
Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.